Welcome to the United States. Can you guess which one's home to a herd of wild zebras? And would you believe me if I told you another state has an undetonated nuclear bomb lost hundreds of feet beneath its surface? Today we're looking at facts about the United States that might seem unbelievable, but they're actually true. First off, let's take a second. I want you to picture a wild animal in the United States. What are you thinking of? Probably a bear? Maybe a bison? Could be a pack of wolves. But what if I told you there's a herd of wild zebras roaming the coast of California? About 4 hours north of Los Angeles, you'll find San Simeon, California, home of the legendary Hearst Castle. Built in the early 1900s by newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst, Hearst Castle was once the site of the world's largest private zoo. Animals housed on the property included kangaroos, lions, giraffes, and a whole lot more. Unfortunately for William Hearst, his fortune would begin to crumble, and eventually he was forced to part ways with his animals. Most were either donated to public zoos or sold to private collectors. However, select animals were released onto the nearby land, most notably the zebras, who have since thrived. Each year the herd... Okay, wait. I found out that a group of zebras is actually called a dazzle, so in that case, each year the dazzle continuously grows. Now there are over 100 zebras in the San Simeon area, and since they're not fed or continuously tracked by humans, they remain completely wild. Now, unlike the black and white zebras, this next fact is about something a little more colorful: sand. Now, if you're thinking, how is sand colorful? Just know in Hawaii, things are a little bit different. Here you'll find multiple beaches that don't fit the stereotypical image of sand. On the Big Island, there is Papakolea Beach, which is home to a yellowish green sand. On the island of Maui, you'll find the rustic red sand of Kaihalulu Beach. And then scattered across both islands, you'll find numerous black sand beaches. The reason for the coloring is due to the volcanic activity on the islands. Each beach is primarily composed of various forms of volcanic rock. The predominant mineral in the sand determines the color of the beach. I recently made another video that goes more in depth on this topic, so if you want to learn more, I'll put a link for that in the description below. As for Hawaii, it might have multiple sand colors, but you know what it doesn't have? Billboards. In 1927, Hawaii banned billboards. Their goal was to protect the scenic views by decreasing visual pollution, meaning you won't see things like this. Over time, more states would pass their own billboard bans. Vermont's ban started in 1968, followed by Maine's 10 years later. And then most recently, Alaska banned billboards in 1998. But billboards aren't the only thing Alaska doesn't have. It also doesn't have sunlight. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but the city of Utqiagvik, located on the northernmost tip of Alaska, experiences something known as polar night. From mid-November until late January, the town receives zero direct sunlight. At best, they get a few hours of civil twilight. This is when the sun is below the horizon, but there is still a slight illumination of the area. But what is the cause of the long nights? That would be the Earth's tilt. In the winter, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, resulting in less sunlight. Since Utqiagvik is incredibly far north, it feels the full effect of this phenomenon. On the other hand, in the summer, the town sees the opposite of a polar night. From early May until early August, Utqiagvik experiences what locals call the midnight sun, a period of time when the sun does not set. In both cases, residents have learned to adapt to their situations. During summer, most people use blackout curtains and sleep masks, while in winter, vitamin D supplements are a must-have, and a sun lamp or two doesn't hurt. Now let's turn our focus from the cold Alaskan winters to a Cold War era mishap. On January 24th, 1961, the sleepy town of Goldsboro, North Carolina, almost became the site of a terrifying nuclear disaster. A B-52 bomber carrying 2 nuclear bombs suffered a catastrophic failure, resulting in the warheads being dropped over rural North Carolina. During a routine training mission, the plane's fuel began to leak, causing the loss of 37,000 pounds of fuel in the span of just 3 minutes. The pilot managed to maintain control long enough for most of the crew to eject safely, but the aircraft began to break apart. As the plane broke apart, the 2 nuclear bombs on board were released. One bomb's parachute deployed, allowing it to descend gently to the ground, where it landed intact in a field near Faro, North Carolina. Fortunately, its safety mechanisms prevented it from detonating. The second bomb's parachute did not deploy. It fell fast and freely to the ground, plunging deep into a field and partially disintegrating upon impact. Miraculously, it too did not detonate. The US military responded quickly to the incident, securing the area and conducting an extensive search for the missing bomb parts. They managed to recover some of the plane debris and the intact bomb, but a key portion of the second bomb, including its nuclear core, remains buried underground to this day. In 2013, declassified documents revealed that one of the bombs was only one safety switch away from detonating. Yikes. Now, this last fact may not be as crazy as a nuclear bomb, but did you know the state of Wyoming only has 2 escalators in the entire state, both of which are located inside banks in the city of Casper? And honestly, out of all the facts I just listed, this one seemed the least believable to me. But with how sparsely populated Wyoming is, there isn't much of a need for escalators. Do you know of a fact that seems unbelievable but is actually true? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.